For centuries, one teaching of Jesus on abundance was deliberately removed from Scripture, not lost. Removed. Because what he knew about prosperity was too powerful to be left in the hands of ordinary people. Jesus never chased abundance. He activated it. For específic, Aramaic words spoken as a precise frequency code. Words that dissolve the invisible patterns of lack running inside your cellular biology and restore the original prosperity frequency you were born carrying. One of those words is Lachma, and what it unlocks inside your pineal gland has been suppressed for 2,000 years. Today it returns. Today the code is yours, the frequency of scarcity. Why the block is not where you think it is. You were not born with a scarcity mindset. You were born with the monad frequency source consciousness in biological form. Pure, coherent, abundant by nature, a living transmission of divine intelligence that knows nothing of lack, because lack does not exist at the level of source. Something happened between that moment and now. Dr. Bruce Lipton spent decades researching the biology of belief, specifically how the subconscious mind programs cellular behavior. His findings were precise and radical. 95% of human behavior is controlled not by conscious thought, but by subconscious programs downloaded between birth and age 7, programs absorbed from environment, from family, from culture, programs that run silently underneath every decision, every action, every attempt to change. The program of scarcity is the most common and the most ancient. It was installed not just in your childhood but across generations. Your parents carried it. Their parents carried it. It passed through bloodlines as an energetic inheritance, a cellular memory of survival, of notnug of life, a struggle. And here is what makes it almost impossible to override through conventional methods. The scarcity frequency lives in the water inside your cells. Remember what Dr. Masaru Emoto demonstrated, that water records and transmits frequency, that words, intentions, and emotions literally restructure the molecular composition of H2O. Your body is 60% water. That water has been absorbing the frequency of scarcity your entire life, from your thoughts, your fears, your environment, the collective field of lack that surrounds modern human culture. Every time you felt financial anxiety, that frequency printed itself into your cellular water. Every time you heard, "We can't afford that," as a child, that frequency entered your biology. Every time the world delivered the message, "There is not enough," your cells recorded it, stored it, and began transmitting it as your default vibrational state. This is why affirmations alone do not work. You can speak abundance over your mind all day, but if your cellular water is still broadcasting the frequency of scarcity, your biology will always override your intention. The Essenes knew this. Jesus knew this, and they knew something else, that the same principle working against you can be reversed completely, that just as water absorbs the frequency of scarcity, it can be restructured to carry the frequency of abundance, that cellular memory can be overwritten not through the mind, but through direct vibrational activation. For Aramaic words, the same ancient technology, a different transmission. Untist time, it rewires everything. The biology of lack, why, scarcity lives in your cells and not in your mind. You have been told that scarcity is a mindset problem. So you repeated you visualized abundance. You followed every modern formula the self-help industry prescribed, and the lack remained, because scarcity is not in your mind. It never was. Scarcity is a frequency pattern embedded in the water inside your cells, and no mental technique reaches that deep. Dr. Bruce Lipton's decades of research into cellular biology revealed something that changes everything. 95% of human behavior is controlled, not by conscious thought, but by subconscious programs downloaded between birth and age 7. Programs absorbed from family, environment, and culture. Programs that run silently underneath every decision you make, including every decision about money, about worth, about what you deserve to receive. The scarcity program is the oldest and most persistent of all. It passed through generations as an energetic inheritance, a cellular memory of survival, of notanug, of life as perpetual struggle. Your parents carried it. Their parents carried it. and it arrived in your biology before you had any conscious ability to refuse it. Here is what makes it almost impossible to override through conventional methods. Dr. Masaru Emoto demonstrated that water records and transmits frequency, that words, emotions, and intentions literally restructure the molecular composition of H2O. Your body is 60% water. That water has been absorbing the frequency of scarcity your entire life. Every financial fear you felt printed itself into your cellular water. Every childhood message of not enough entered your biology and was stored as your default vibrational broadcast. This is why affirmations fail at the root level. You can speak abundance over your mind endlessly, but if your cellular water is still transmitting the frequency of lack, your biology will always override your intention. Jesus understood this completely. He knew that true abundance activation required a direct vibrational intervention, not at the level of thought, but at the level of the cell. Not through belief, but through precise phonetic frequency delivered into the body as a biological transmission. 4 Aramaic words. A complete activation sequence, a cellular reset of everything's scarcity installed. The 4 words, the phonetic code Jesus used to activate abundance. Jesus did not pray for abundance. He activated it. And the difference between those two things is everything. Prayer asks. Activation commands. Prayer operates at the level of hope. Activation operates at the level of frequency, direct, precise, biological. When Jesus spoke these 4 Aramaic words, he was not petitioning a distant force for more. He was issuing a vibrational instruction to his own cellular matrix, restoring the original prosperity frequency that source consciousness carries by nature. The 4 words are Lachma, Tueon, Sifa, Lachma, with a guttural KH. Initiating the word Lachma is the Aramaic word most commonly translated as bread, but its true meaning extends far beyond physical nourishment. Lachma carries the frequency of divine provision, the understanding that Source supplies completely and continuously. When spoken, it vibrates directly into the pineal gland, the biological antenna of divine reception, and begins dissolving the cellular pattern of lack at its root. Tuayon, pronounced Tuwayon, with emphasis on the second syllable. This is the word Jesus used in the Beatitudes in place of blessed. Its true meaning, enriched, overflowing, saturated with abundance, carries a harmonic resonance that opens the cellular field to receive prosperity as a natural state rather than an earned condition. Shefa, pronounced Shefa, with equal weight on both syllables. Shefa means divine flow, the continuous, unobstructed outpouring of abundance from Source. It does not describe wealth as a destination. It describes abundance as a river that never stops moving. When spoken, it instructs your cellular water to release resistance and align with the natural current of divine provision. Haim, the same word from the water activation, life, divine breath, the animating force that moves through all living systems. Its presence here is deliberate, because true prosperity is not separate from life force. It is an expression of it. Together, Lachma, Tuayon, Shefa, Haim. These 4 words form a complete vibrational sequence, a phonetic key that unlocks what scarcity's sealed. Those who want to go further will find that these 4 words are only the beginning of a much older and deeper body of knowledge, one that has always been available to those ready to receive it. The path continues for those who choose to follow it. The pineal gland, the biological gate. Jesus, activated with sound. Ancient traditions across every culture identified a sacred center inside the human body, a biological gate between the physical and the divine. The Egyptians called it the Eye of Horus. Hindu traditions called it the third eye. Jesus called it the single eye. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. Modern neuroscience calls it the pineal gland. This small pin-cone-shaped structure sits at the geometric center of the brain. It produces melatonin, regulates biological rhythms, and according to pioneering researcher Dr. Rick produces trace amounts of DMT-dimethyltryptamine, the most potent consciousness-expanding compound known to biology. The pineal gland is, in the most literal neurological sense, your body's antenna for non-physical frequency, and it calcifies. Fluoride, processed food, electromagnetic pollution, and chronic stress create calcium deposits around the pineal gland that progressively reduce its sensitivity and function. A calcified pineal gland cannot receive divine frequency clearly. It cannot broadcast the prosperity signal your biology was designed to transmit. It becomes a blocked antenna, still present, still structurally intact, but functionally silent. This is the biological root of the scarcity frequency, not just a program in the subconscious, a physically compromised receiver that can no longer access the abundance channel. When Jesus spoke the 4 Aramaic words, the specific phonetic frequencies of Lachma and Tuaon created acoustic vibrations that traveled directly to the pineal gland. Sound moves through the skull as vibration. The guttural resonance of Lachma produces a standing wave at the precise frequency needed to begin dissolving calcification and restoring pineal sensitivity. This is not speculation. Acoustic decalcification of biological tissue is a documented phenomenon in medical ultrasound research. Jesus was using the same principle, with his own voice as the instrument. A restored pineal gland receives clearly. It broadcasts the monad frequency without interference. And when that signal is running cleanly through your biology, scarcity cannot hold its pattern. Abundance becomes the default transmission. The complete guide is pinned in the first common, the most important Aramaic words, their exact pronunciation, and the full activation protocols. For those ready to go deeper, the link is there, waiting. The Prosperity Activation Protocol. How to use the 4 words daily. The Essence did not speak these words casually. Jesus did not speak them casually. Precision was everything, because frequency activation is not about intention alone. It is about intention delivered through correct form. Here is the complete Prosperity Activation Protocol. Step 1. Morning stillness. The activation must happen before the world reaches you. Before your phone, before news, before the collective frequency of scarcity has any chance to establish itself in your field. Wake 15 minutes earlier if necessary. This window of morning stillness is not optional. It is the most fertile ground your biology offers for cellular reprogramming. Step 2. Posture and breath. Sit upright. Place both hands open on your thighs, palms facing upward, the universal posture of receiving. Take 5 slow, conscious breaths. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 4. Exhale through the mouth for 8. This breathing pattern activates the parasympathetic nervous system and opens maximum receptivity in the pineal gland. You are preparing the antenna before transmitting the signal. Step 3. The activation sequence. Speak the 4 words out loud. Slowly, with full presence and physical awareness of each vibration moving through your body. Lachma, feel it vibrate behind your eyes, at the center of your skull. This is your pineal gland, receiving the signal. Tuaon, feel your chest expand. Feel the cellular field of your body open to receive. Shefa, feel it, the resistance. Release, feel the natural current of abundance begin to move. Haim, feel the life force anchor the entire sequence into your biological system. Sit in silence for 60 seconds after speaking. Do not immediately return to thought. Allow the frequency to settle into your cellular water without interruption. Step 4. Evening completion. Repeat the sequence once before sleep. The hours of sleep are when your biology consolidates new frequency patterns most deeply. Speaking the 4 words as your final conscious act before sleep instructs your cellular system to process and anchor the prosperity frequency through the entire night cycle. 2 activations daily, morning and evening. 30 days without interruption. Your biology will not be the same on the other side. You were never meant to live in scarcity. Reclaiming the frequency you were born with. Here is the truth that 2,000 years of suppression tried to erase. You were not born into scarcity. You were born as abundance, source consciousness. The monad frequency does not know lack. It cannot produce lack. Lack is not a feature of divine intelligence. It is a distortion, a frequency overlay installed by systems that required your energetic depletion to maintain their own power. Scarcity is not your nature. It is your programming, and programming can be overwritten. When Jesus spoke the 4 Aramaic words, he was not asking the universe for more. He was remembering what he already was. He was issuing a declaration at the cellular level, a vibrational statement of original truth. I am Lachma. I am Tueon. I am Shifa. I am Haim. Divine provision, overflowing abundance, unobstructed flow, animated life force. This is the activation that was suppressed, not because it was dangerous to God, but because it was dangerous to every system built on human lack. A human being who has restored their prosperity frequency cannot be controlled through financial fear, cannot be manipulated through artificial scarcity, cannot be kept small by a system designed to profit from smallness. This is why the teaching was removed. This is why it was hidden. And this is why recovering it, speaking these 4 words daily, anchoring this frequency into your cellular water, is one of the most revolutionary acts available to you right now. After 7 days of consistent practice, people report the same sequence of shifts. First, a quiet but unmistakable sense of sufficiency, a feeling that enough is already present. Then, unexpected opportunities begin appearing. Synchronicities, doors opening without force, resources arriving from directions that logic cannot explain. Then, the deepest shift of all, the background noise of lack, simply grows quieter, and one day you realize it has stopped. That is the monad prosperity frequency stabilizing in your cellular matrix. That is what Jesus knew. That is what was always meant to be yours. Speak the words. Restore the frequency. Reclaim what was always there. Lachman tueyon shefa. Haim. You were never meant to live in scarcity. You were always meant to live as the abundance you already are. Everything in this video is the foundation. The complete guide is pinned in the first comment, the most important Aramaic words, their exact pronunciation, and the full activation protocols for those ready to go deeper. The link is there waiting for you. And if this activated something in you, if you felt a shift while watching, you are ready for what comes next. In the next video, we enter the Aramaic activation codes for healing, the precise frequency sequence Jesus used to restore the body at the cellular level, the same technology. A deeper transmission. Donat mis Italiano. Right now, before you close this video, speak the 4 words out, loud Lachma, Tueon, Shefa, Haim. Then come to the comments and tell us, what did you feel? What shifted? We read every single response. And if this teaching found you today, subscribe to this channel. Every week, we go deeper into the ancient frequency codes that were always meant to be yours.